Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Ross Meets. Now this is a great segue, this is, because we're moving from Blood Command. We're still in the rock vibe with Skyfever this episode with Tyson. And it is such a fabulous episode, and it's quite an old episode, to be honest with you. It's quite an old interview. It was recorded around the same time as Alex Hawkins and Cormac Todd, so it's had time to age a little. You know, there's been a range of things that have kind of cropped up that has kind of halted and delayed the interview, which has been a bit of a nightmare on my side, because it's such a good interview. It's, you know, listening back to it and listening to what Tyson had to say about all his influences and all the stuff going behind Skyfever's, not just Skyfever's music, but the band as a whole as well, is just so eye-opening and just so wonderful and just so good to hear. I say near the end of the interview that he's a beacon of knowledge, you know, a font of knowledge and inspirations about the music industry. Not just Tyson, but I think Skyfever as a whole is a band that is always looking for reinvention, always looking for new ways to be creative and new ways to do things. And I think to have that in our industry is such a good way of doing things and getting things done and creating art, because a lot of what Skyfever do is art based. You know, there's so much great art coming out of the band from each member. Tyson talks about, I think it's somewhere near the middle, he talks about how Luke, you know, being the lead singer, his relationships within the band with other members of the band, you know, kind of starting like little bands within the band, you know, because of all the ideas that have been bustling, but you know, between the members. And it's just so good to hear, so good to see. But yeah, I am glad this interview has had time to age a little bit, because Skyfever grew so much on their socials, and it's been so good to sit here and kind of see what they've been up to. And I think one of the areas that they've really developed is Skyfever Worlds. Again, something so unique that the band are doing that nobody else is, and it's so good. It's their card series. It's available on their website, next to Iron Butterflies, which is their acoustic album of songs that they'd already released, but acoustic versions. Again, something unique to them. Reinvention, working old ideas and old songs and creating something new out of that. And there's just so much good stuff coming out of Skyfever. Tyson was probably the kindest person I've met on these interviews, the most open person. On and off camera, he was just wonderful. There was a lot going wrong on that day. There was a lot of chaos erupting, you know, with technical difficulties, and, you know, we couldn't get the camera working and stuff like that. Hence the world's worst angle on my side. But he literally, he was such a natural, and just so just kind, and just so open, and just so talkative. And it's so lovely when you've got that, you know, especially on my side. I love being able to ask an artist a question and they just go forward, they just go for it, you know what I mean, and they just don't stop. They just, you know, keep giving everything they can in the interview. And that's really what Tyson did. And he's been so patient, you know, across socials and communication outside of the interview. He's been so patient and just so helpful and just so genuine. And that is always what we're looking for with these interviews. So I'm so excited to get it out. It's literally been on my forefront of my mind for a few months now, but I'm just so excited for everyone to hear it and to really, really get behind Skyfever, because they're community based. They have a great community, a great fan base. They give everything they can to that fan base with everything that they do, and they're just brilliant. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the interview. It's a bit of a long one because Tyson has got so much great stuff to say, and, you know, stay the course, because he's brilliant, such a talent, and that goes for every other member of the band as well. The band strive for perfection in everything that they do, and it's just so good to see. So many exciting things as well coming from the band to look forward to. And you'll see that towards the end of the interview as well. All the stuff we can be excited about coming from the band. They are fabulous. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hey, Ross, how
Oh,
are
I
you?
can hear you, Tyson banging. Hello.
All
Sorry
good,
about all
man.
this.
It's
Oh
all
my
right.
God. It's been an absolute nightmare. It was all good to go. Everything was all good. And then I put my camera on top of the computer and all the screens went off. And I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? So then I had to restart it because Zoom went out the window. So you're going to have to
Yeah,
excuse the really horrible camera angle because my camera's down here and it just will not let me put it up here because it all goes off for some reason. And I've just bumped my mic. It's just all a
it's the
bit flustered.
it's the epic shot. Don't worry, you're all right.
But yeah, just a really big sorry for being late and sorry for all these technical
Come on,
difficulties. I don't think
happens,
it's
man.
ever gone so wrong in all the time I've been doing it. Yep. Sorry for
Yeah,
this. But yeah, are you
yeah.
okay? How are you doing?
Fantastic, mate. Feeling good, Feeling good.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Is the weather okay where you are? It's quite nice here.
It's Ireland, mate. So it's a bit of rain, a bit of sun,
Yeah.
a bit of everything.
Get the mixture. Yeah, yeah. That's brilliant. So we'll start right at the very start. How did you guys like meet? How did like the band form? What happened with all that?
I love this question because it kind of brings me back a little. So, like, I've been writing songs for as soon as I picked up a guitar, I've been writing songs, and for years I was brutal. But then I got quite good. So, but I can't sing. I'm a songwriter. I'm not even a singer songwriter. I'm just a songwriter. So, like, as you do, you join bands, you start bands, all this kind of thing. But then I kind of got a little bit serious in my mind because look, I tried to make it as a professional footballer. It didn't happen. So music was the next thing, and wanted to join a band. And after a few attempts, I kind of realized I need to kind of start my own thing. Start my own thing. So after I'd say 38 auditions for a lead singer, I found Luke, and I was just so picky because Luke's essentially my voice. And it took a while. Like, it was funny. The second Luke walked in the room, he walked like a front man, and he was the first guy to do so. I just knew by his swagger. He throws a few shapes. So we connected right away, and we were writing songs together, he was tweaking songs I'd already written, and I just knew this is a guy I can share my soul with, because that's what you do as a songwriter. Like you share your soul, your deepest thoughts, your vulnerabilities, your dreams, or whatever. And we just spent a good 2 years writing, and obviously trying to recruit people in and get the right team members in, because essentially, like being in a band, it's the same ethos as a winning team. You need the right ingredients. You need a joker. You need someone who'll provide the light entertainment. You need
Definitely.
someone solid on drums. You need a maverick. You need a hard worker. So you need this mix of people. But at the end of the day, everyone has to succumb to the same vision, which is no ego except for the ego of the song.
Yeah.
Song is king. It's funny. I would have actually read a lot of books. My master's was in strategic management, and one of the big things I got from that was, and I believe everything's for a reason. This is why, like, it's funny. Like, I'm using all this stuff in music context. I would have read a lot of stuff on team building, and I was very fortunate once to attend a seminar with Martin Curry. Not really a seminar, like a kind of corporate thing. And he gave a great, he's obviously the rugby, England captain or former England captain, or part of the World Cup winning team. And he said that the most important thing they did is they got rid of the energy sappers. And that was the big thing for me. Don't have anyone in the band, or if anyone who's listening to this who's joining the band or starting a band, anyone who's negative towards the vision, get rid. So we've been, you go through members and all that kind of stuff, but eventually you get the winning formula, and that's critical, because once that negativity is out of the room and everyone's like almost like an arrow, you find that the creative vision of a song or the creative force can flow really easy. It's almost like something like positivity. Positivity can't really grow or penetrate if there's a negative force field around people. You know yourself, like if good things are happening, more good things happen.
Yeah.
Creativity is the same. So that's really the origins in the band. It's finding the right mix was always going to be crucial.
Yeah.
And look, like I'm a real positive person anyway, so I feel that like it's an absolute joy and a gift. It's a joy to have this gift to be able to express myself in a time when people say, you know, mental health is such a at the forefront of everything. But to have the gift to be able to extract any frustrations out of myself and put them into something that could potentially live forever.
Yeah.
It's a gift, and I protect that gift, and everyone in the band protects their gift. And you know, through COVID, I guarantee you, I'd say half of artists quit over COVID.
Yeah,
It's
and
because
I
they
see. I
didn't
was going to
protect.
ask you about that as well. That was like leading on to my next question because it didn't look like you guys stopped all the way through
No,
COVID. You really, really powered through. You know, with the album, "Is This the End of the World?" You know, you guys really carried on. You know, how was that for you guys?
Ross, I have to say, I've watched a few of your interviews, right? And I love the way you almost understand the band before I even speak to them, and that you've beyond bullseyed it there. Now, I'll be honest, it's almost like, do you know when you hill running, you
Yeah,
attack the hill. That was the mentality. I said to the lads, look, it's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be really tough, this COVID thing. We found a new way to work. Like we all got a home studio or the capability to record at home. If anything, creativity skyrocketed during COVID because Carl started writing songs. Carl started writing songs with Luke. So all these new connections in the band started, and new songwriting connections. And it was almost like a new band within the
yeah,
band. And the amount of material, like we have enough, and this is frightening. And I'm not just doing a Noel Gallagher and lying, about this. We have enough singles for a single every month for 3 years,
wow. Oh my
all because of
God.
COVID, man. Oh, and like, look, as bad as COVID was, and look, there's negatives. We couldn't play live. We were meant to do a halftime show over in the States for an American football team we've written a song for. That was
Yeah,
obviously canned. Momentum from a live perspective was canned, but we took the Beatles attitude. Is we can't play live, so let's go deep into what it's all about, which is the art. So if anything, you're right, we ramped it up. And I openly admit to the lads, like, I pushed them almost near breaking points, but I kind of knew the point I could stop
yeah.
because I'm as tough as I am with lads. I'm tough for myself. So I decided to let's push, let's attack the hill.
Yeah, definitely. But
COVID was, in many ways, COVID was the best thing that happened to this band.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the album did so well. It did so well. It was almost like perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh
really
yeah.
weird to say for like, artists. It's really weird to say because like for a lot of artists, COVID really like stopped everything, like absolutely everything. But for you guys, it was so beneficial, to get that create that catalog and really, I suppose, like connect as a band and have the time to fully focus on the band. It's a really good experience to have.
I love that. I love that. And you know the funny thing is this the end of the world was written in October 2019, before
Yeah,
anything, before any thoughts of COVID. And it was funny, like a few people who we let into the van. We don't really let anyone into the circle when we're creating or when we're about to release something. We don't really give any, sneak peeks. But one of the few people that did come in, they were like, "Are you sure you want to still call the album Is This the End of the World?" I was like, "Yes, we're." You know what I mean? We do not change course. But it was almost like the feeling of art should not kneel.
yeah,
Art does not kneel. Michelangelo, like, does any of his art, all these great works. And look, I'm not being big. I'm not comparing myself to those, but I just think in general, if art does not kneel,
yeah,
and that was the stance. And if anything, like it's kind of a positive album. It's not saying this is the end of the world. It's kind of asking, is this the end of the world, or is it the start to something new? And if you listen to it, it was really strange. Like I was listening back to the rehearsals of "Is This the End of the World," and when it was being started, and it all started with a synth sound, and the thoughts were like, what's the sound of, let's just say the world ends, but what's the start of a new beginning, a new relationship, someone on a train on the way to a new college or a new city, a new job, on the way to meet hopefully what is the love of our life, the first date. What's the sound of that? And that's what that is. Is this the end of the world? It's about the new beginning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Siri wanted to comment then as well about
No.
that. Siri tried. Oh, it's coming in again. Oh my God, my Siri does not like me today. I'm probably having a beef with technology. Sorry about that,
It's all right,
Tyson. But
man. It's
yeah,
all right.
no,
It's just fun in the air.
totally agreed. Totally agreed about the art and that connection and having that connection with the art and not letting it kind of derail you, depending on what's going on around the world. I think that is definitely that they don't connect. I don't think the two connect particularly, like art and what is happening at the time. You
Mm.
kind of have to prevail through and you have to keep moving, because if you stop, you're stagnant, you know what I mean? And you've lost all that time. 1 year in music is so much time to either grow or lose. Do you know what I mean? And the pandemic kind of went across like about 3 years or so. And coming out of it nowadays, what are the influences and the kind of like inspirations going into your newer music? Like Alchemy, songs like that, even Flowers
Yeah.
Die. What kind of inspirations have we got going in nowadays?
So I'm gonna go deep on you here, man. All right, in this
Oh,
one. By
that's
the
all
way, do you want to be in my band? Because I love this attitude. It's great. It's great to meet someone similar.
good.
So essentially, okay. So look, with the growth of digitalism and phones and all that stuff. Now, even though we've just released an acoustic EP, Iron Butterflies, but the next stage for us is a lot of synth stuff laced with guitar. So Alchemy and Even Flowers Die give a great indicator of what's kind of coming. Um, Iron Butterflies, which is our acoustic EP, which is acoustic versions of songs we have, is almost like the deep breath before the plunge. It's almost like just to lean it back a little before we go full into this. So, if anything, the songs are going to get a lot bigger. We're in the middle of recording, I say finishing touches to what will be our summer release, and it's just an anthem, mate. It's just let's go for the throat. It's it's huge, and at the minute, like this would be finished if it was not for me and Luke kind of saying, okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. So actually, on Wednesday, we're hopefully going to finish it and get it to our producer to mix. So the songs are going to get bigger. They're going to get, in some ways, a little bit brighter, a little bit more extreme, a little bit darker. So we're kind of I think a lot of our music so far, it's all to kind of lure people in a little. So it's all been fourth gear stuff to me.
Yeah.
As much as people love it and think, our fans like we've had Even Flowers Die played at a funeral, someone's dad's funeral, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm there thinking like, wait, you hear what we've got coming next. it's,
Yeah.
it's nuts. So it's another level, the stuff that's coming.
Yeah, I mean, really, really exciting stuff, and that's kind of unbelievable. Is that really special to you to hear that your music has been featured in that setting? Um, could you
Yeah.
imagine that your music would be played, you know, for somebody like that?
Do you know what? Like it floored me a little. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Look, the song was kind of number of things. Was a good friend of the band went through the worst I'm not even gonna like the worst tragedy ever, and it was kind of written as a song of hope. But also like when you go to a funeral, like the flowers are fresh. But when you visit the grave a month later or a few weeks later, like the flowers are dead, but you're still there with your grief. And that was it's always like being a powerful image in my head. And it was just to have to write the song was a gift that just came. But to hear that someone cared enough to have it played, just man, there's not. I don't. It's hard to put into words because
Yeah.
I get a little bit upset thinking about this stuff. It's just an honor. Like it's beyond. an honor. And what we did for this girl is, and she's probably not well, she might be listening to this, hopefully, when she does, but we actually have recorded a special kind of live version of just me and Luke, and it's even more emotional. And I can't wait for people to hear that. We're kind of making a decision whether we release as part of the next EP or not, but either way, it's going to be out there and it's going to hit harder. And but yeah, no, do you know, it's such a beyond honored when you're asked. You know, she actually said to me, "Is it okay if?" I'm like, "What? You don't even need to ask." You know what I mean? Like it's um there's very few things that top that because it kind of shows that you've kind of hit someone's soul and parted their memory and parted. Like I was at a funeral recently and they actually played the Killer song "Are We Human?" And you know, as the coffin's being lowered into the grave, and not to get heavy, but it was like it was a beautiful but sad moment. But like it's almost like they didn't want the song to end because that was his song. And I was kind of thinking like our song would have been played in the same kind of way. I'm like, whoa. But it inspires you to create and inspires you to, if anything, it inspires you to get up earlier, to write better songs, to work harder.
Yeah,
Because if it's people like this who believe in you, you need to be
exactly.
great. There's no question, man. There's no
Yeah,
question. You need to be great. And to do her belief in us justice, we need to go all the way to the top.
yeah, definitely. And I really appreciate you answering that question. It was really, really tough, you know, to ask and to answer, because it's such a sensitive subject. But I think it really, really highlights the magic behind the music and your music especially, and the real connection that you have with listeners and fans. It's really, really magical, and kind of like I'm in awe of it, you know, watching it and being able to see it. And I think a lot of I think the position the band's in at the minute is there's such an excitement about the future and what's to come, and everything that's going on. You know, you're talking about a harder hitting sound, and it's just it's so exciting, so exciting.
Thank you,
And
man. Yeah.
do you feel like I mean, this might be it. This is a very easy question. Do you feel like you've grown as a band and grown as a person as time's gone forward from where you
Yeah, like
started?
where's my book? Here, I've got a book to show you. Where is it? Actually, it's underneath the laptop here. I'm always looking to develop as a person anyway. The Art of War, Ultimate Art of War guide by Anthony Cummins. It's like, you know, the Art of War, it's an old strategy text, but it's the applications of it. And I also have like I have my little library here, and I'm always adding to my lyrics bucket. I'm always adding to like the amount of new ideas. Like I've got enough songs for 3 bands at the minute, but I'm always looking to get better. Like I feel as if I haven't written the best song yet, and it's just eternally creating. I never switch off, and because I firmly believe like there could be a day when the music, like my little antenna to wherever the songs come from, um, that communication between that place could stop any day. So I milk every day, and that's why I'm just looking to grow as a person, be positive, and look, I know it's people put up cheesy quotes on Instagram and think that's it. Like I'm a firm believer in the, you know, what's beyond that, what's the hard work to ensure that's the way I need to be. So I'm a big believer in personal development. I'm a big believer in being open to the magic, but you need to protect it. You like it's actually 10% is having it, 90% is protecting it. It's like with footballers or sports people. For every one that you see on TV, there's thousands that shoulda, woulda, coulda, but they they didn't protect the talent. They listened to the voice of doubt in their head. They let people fuel the voice of doubt in their head. They listened to the doubters. I've been very good at turning off that. I've been very blessed to do that. And look, if this can be like, you have to be aware when you're in a band, you're kind of representing something greater than yourself. And we have a few bands who like, you know, I'm thinking of giving up. Think, you know, in the DMs, about, don't give up. Now's the time to push forward. Like you have a gift. Like who can stand up and play guitar in front of their friends? There's not many can do that, or piano, or who can sing or who has the courage to express themselves. If anything, you've been given a gift, do that gift an honor. And I heard something that hit me hard the other day. It said that your future self is looking back at you now through memories. I was like, whoa,
Yeah, it's
what
scary
would
to think
future
about.
man like then I was thinking, okay, so what if future Tyson could look now at me now, what would he be, what would he be thinking? Would he be proud? What could he say that would make me do a certain, you know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like I'm constantly checking myself, like with anyone, like no one's perfect. We're all fighting battles, but the biggest battle you need to win is in here.
Definitely. Totally agreed. And it's really good to have that kind of like self-reflection and being able to look back into the past and being proud of how far you've come. You guys have achieved so much in such a small amount of time. It's quite scary actually, and it's about having that work ethic, and it's about
Yeah,
having everything at the forefront of your head. And it's like you said, it's really hard to switch off, especially in terms of like
yeah.
the creativity and when you're in that zone, and especially because of the industry that we're in. It begs you to be creative, and it requires you to be creative, and it requires you to be switched on all the
Mm,
time. And I think you've
mm,
given some really sound advice to people just starting out on their journey about not giving up and keep going
mm.
forward, because it's really easy to kind of look back sometimes and think, oh, I haven't really done anything. You know what I mean? Nothing's really happened yet. But it's all about having that timing and knowing when that time will come. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's about being ready
Yeah,
for when that time comes.
yeah, exactly. And talking about the industry, and the stuff within it, how's it been in Ireland? What's kind of like the music industry like there, and the community like?
Do you know, it's Ireland's a funny one. All right, and look, I love Ireland. It's very small. It's very small. And we have a little saying in the band: think beyond the little pond. So, and it's not look, it's not begrudging Ireland, but it's just like we've had to look elsewhere because Ireland's almost like it's a watered down version of the US charts, essentially. And it's the UK is I can't tell you enough how different the UK is. Like it's probably even a diluted version of Radio One. That's it. But it's funny, like we don't, we love being Irish, we love the fact we're Irish, all that kind of thing. But we've had to look elsewhere, and like look at the bands that are, the Script, U2, doesn't Snow Patrol. Well, I know they're Northern Irish. There's not that many. There's not that many. Well, Boyzone and Westlife, the legends.
Yeah,
But look, like there's Bono's Sons band, and we actually come from the same stable as them. Inhaler, we come from the same stable as them. Stable of bands around at that time, starting off. Uh, they've done really well, and like Joe, I don't begrudge anyone doing really well. If anything, they're kicking doors open for us, and it's great. And it's like anyone who's come before us, they've kicked open a few doors. So we just think beyond Ireland. That's it. It's as
yeah,
simple as that. Like we kind of look at it. UK, America are the two kind of main places that we focus on. We've big focus on the US as well, and that's going really well. So just they're just the two kind of wars we're fighting. And the US, like the states within the US might be different countries altogether as well. So that's a big one. But I do find the UK, the music taste, you're a lot more welcoming, a lot more diverse. Like the fact that we do rock songs, alternative rock songs, and acoustic doesn't melt your minds if anything you welcome it. Because like you grew up with, Led Zeppelin. You create Led Zeppelin, and they're like the loudest folk band ever.
yeah,
Oasis, look at like Oasis' best songs are Noel Gallagher when he sits down with an acoustic. So you invented that.
yeah,
So that's why
exactly.
like UK is a big focus for us because they use get us. You get that we can do lots.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the alternative kind of indie side is very much like thriving at the minute, especially. And it is really doing well where we are. And
Mm.
what do you think of kind of like the state of kind of like the rock and kind of like heavier genre? Do you wish that there was more like kind of like inclusivity of it in the charts, more visibility in the charts, or are you kind of happy with how it is at the minute? Because as I
Mm.
say, it's definitely prominent and it's definitely there, and there's definitely people, listening to it. It's huge, but
Mm.
like in terms of like a kind of like community kind of like based feel, but
Mm.
in terms of the charts, it's not visibly really there.
Yeah.
What do you think about
This
that?
this is this is music strategy we're talking here almost. And okay, there's a number of layers to this. I feel COVID got a big needle and burst the pop bubble. You look at any art post, remember, well, back in the day, rock was born after the Spanish flu. So art got darker. Similar with COVID, um, pop gone. Pop is only pop's being propped up by major labels, which is fair enough. People look, there's people in major labels who need to make a living. They've got a good way of life. They're used to way of life. The amount of money that would have been in the music industry, they're trying to grab as much of that, and so they earworm it left, right, and center through that. But you'll find that the bands that will be remembered are the ones that are community grown. They're not created in an office. They're not like, and I don't begrudge any of that stuff, by the way. That all has its place. You know what I mean? But look at the biggest artist on the planet, Ed Sheeran. He wasn't created. He created himself. He was community based, and he built up all these little communities. And that's, I think it's the best thing ever, because community will mean loyalty. Loyalty breeds word of mouth. Word of mouth wins always.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like this thing that's rising and rising and rising and rising. And around as you said, a year is a lifetime of music. Wait till you see next year what's going to happen. It's going to be an unstoppable force. And then you'll see the majors going, okay, we need to sign a few of these acts.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like because being involved in the trenches, like in the communities, talking to fans every day, like it's the best market research. And anyone listening from a major label or any indie label right now, I'll tell you all now, a year to 2 years, it's coming. So you better start copping on and
Yeah.
looking at these artists. And people might take that voice, oh, whatever. It's true. I see it. We've over all our socials got 20,000 fans. We engage with a good portion of them, and we know what they're saying. We know what's coming. We know what they're thinking. It's better than any little research that they try to do. It's the best market research that anyone can have when you're in a band, because you get to contact your fans directly. So it's coming. So what you're talking about is going to be on a mass scale in a year to two.
Yeah.
You
Tyson,
heard
I
it.
could
Well,
not agree more.
we're going to talk in 2 years. We're going to talk in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to, yeah, we were right.
Yeah. I mean, I could not agree more. It's definitely we're moving towards that community feel and those artists from those, backgrounds. And it's again, it's about that excitement. Do you know what I mean? It's about that excitement and it's about that connection. And you'll see the bands with the connection do well, and then other bands without that connection, it'll hinder them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it is very much it's a nice it's I don't know, it's kind of it
You
feels
feel a part of
authentic.
something. Like
Yeah,
you're part of something.
it brings that authenticity to along with the art, and it
Yeah.
really goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Really goes hand in hand.
Like a funny thing you mentioned, and let's speak about art here. I'll tell you what we've done. All right. And this is going to probably blow your mind a little. When you write a song, it's a sound that comes from another place, all right? And I'll be explain this quickly. I believe that music is very one-dimensional. And that's why people don't buy music, because it's just one-dimensional. It's just a sound, and you're just one in the giant jukebox that is Spotify. So we've gone beyond that now. So when you say, if you imagine a song is like a photograph of a beautiful scene, snapshot in time of a moment. However, in that scene, it's a place. There's people who've lived in it. It's got a history and mythology. So I had this reoccurring dream where this queen kept visiting me and talking to me. So then I designed her and I brought her to life. And then all these other characters I've created, and they're all linked to Iron Butterflies. So then we create a whole mythology around it. So we've got a card series, which is like Yu-Gi-Oh meets Tarot meets Pokemon, but it's all linked to the release of music that we do. And it's actually getting more popular than our music to some fans. They're actually wanting these. But again, it just shows you like you need, in it, being in a band, you need to innovate for your community. You need to think of ways going, how can I connect with these better? And how can I give more value to them? Not just about a song, but what else can we do? So that forces us to think on what else. Let's bring real value here. So we've actually done that. And Skyfever Worlds, but every release of music will have these, and they're gonna have little down the road with the capability. You're gonna have little, you know, we'll call it not 3D, what's the word? Immersive kind of stuff. So we've got mad plans
Brilliant, brilliant. And you know,
for the
talking about,
community.
yeah, exactly. And it's about that reinvention aspect as well, and moving through different genres and moving through different styles of music. And I feel like that's definitely seen in Iron Butterflies, the new EP, and the
Mm.
kind of acoustic feel, you know, bringing
Yep.
another side to the music. Is
Mm.
reinvention important to you guys? And is there anything
Yep.
that you'd like to point out about Iron Butterflies, just before we kind
Yeah.
of like wrap up?
Yeah. Just before we wrap, it's funny, we used to just in between bit, songs rehearsal, we'd be acoustic guitars there, and we just pick them up or whatever, and it just sounded fresh. So we just picked five, um, and we kind of wanted to represent different acoustic worlds. Like Sunny Day is kind of troubadour almost. Seven Burning Hands is almost Middle America, but then the weight is so the weight, the actual song is full on, but Luke decided to go like, well, this is the vulnerable side of bravery. So with the weight is about being brave in the storm. But what's imagine we all have an inner child. So I was like, Luke sang it as if he was a child. His inner child was speaking, and it's quiet and vulnerable, and it's haunting. But the best, my favorite one on it is probably Kings, which is Luke on acoustic guitar. I was there that night. He did the vocal. We lit candles in the room, the whole lot, and it's his greatest vocal performance. I mean, getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like we just, thank God we press record. Gee, because sometimes you don't. Sometimes you
Yeah.
don't do that. You go, oh, let's just give it a go. That one take, man, one take.
Yeah.
Lord, and it's funny. He did it another time, and it was the first time is the best one. Yeah, but yeah, like I go, oh, and like we need to submit that to TV stations or movie studios or something because it's frightening. But yeah, Iron Butterflies. Just the thing behind it was that I have an old piano here, and one day I looked, and they're still there actually. So I've got two candlesticks on it, and I was going, "What is that?" I saw those two butterflies, but butterflies, you see them, you don't touch them, you leave them. Came back later, they're obviously dead. So these two butterflies had died on these candlesticks, and I was like, "Whoa!" So there's the title, but it's kind of a metaphor for transformation, and if someone's had to, leave a relationship or go through a great change or whatever, that there's an inner steel that's always unveiled, and your inner strength is always shown when you go through tough times. And that's just the thinking behind it. And that's what these songs show. You strip these songs back to what they are, and they're incredible.
Yeah,
So that's it.
exactly, definitely. And it's a really good mix on the album. Really, really good sound. And yeah, it's just perfect. It's all really well fitting. And again, exploring that other side of the music.
Thank you,
And
man.
just to kind of wrap up now,
Yep.
what kind of like future dates have we got going on? What can we get excited for with Sky Fever?
So as I said earlier, we're working on our next EP. The main song off that will be available in all the stores, but then directly on our website will be the rest of the EP and the Skyfever World Series along with that. That's all in motion at the minute. it's sounding incredible. There's an anthem on there. There's probably the best breakup song I've ever heard is going to be on it as well. A bit of a cheeky one. And there's a beautiful piano track. And yeah, it's 4 to 5 songs are going to be on that EP, and it's going to floor everyone. It's the best song is coming.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Tyson, it's been so lovely getting the opportunity to talk to you about all your influences, the band, you as a person. It's just been absolutely wonderful having the chance to talk to you and really connect with you about this and talk so greatly about everything that's going on. It's really, really exciting stuff. And it's just been a brilliant opportunity. And I've really got to thank you for that. You are
Look, we row in the same boat. We row in the same boat.